has anyone ever been to Trás-os-Montes other than Susana? Because it's an incredibly remote region. It's hard to get to. It's hard to travel within it. It's hilly, and it has an aging population. So people are more kind of enclosed in their own villages. There's uh, there's difficulty in getting electricity, possibly internet as well, and running water. So these are like very remote, small communities of, um, and I feel that there's such a connection between them and the people that Susanna interviews. And I feel that most of it is through the cadences and how they speak. And I was wondering how Julia felt about the voices, the different voices of the people Susanna interviews, and how how did you achieve what flows so nicely in English as well? Did you find it? How did you find it, basically? Yes.
Before I forget, I do want to ask Susana at some point why Trás-os-Montes, because she said there were several reasons and then didn't go into any of them. And now I'm extremely curious. But back to the oral parts of this book, I think they were extremely challenging. I especially remember the section with the old couple who had lived in Angola being very difficult, to the point where in the early draft, I was hesitant to take it too far. I was very scared of making them sound hokey. And I wasn't quite sure how to capture in English the Portuguese of an older couple who had spent a long time in another country where they spoke a different Portuguese and had then come back. I'm not sure if I was successful. I'm going to trust your judgment more than my own. But I think I read it aloud quite a few times, and I had a lot of help from the editors at And Other Stories, Anna Fletcher and Sophie Lewis, who are both translators, and Stefan as well. I can't remember if he actually did any hands-on editing now that I think of it. But I was very fortunate in that everyone who touched this project spoke Portuguese, which is extremely rare. So that's 3 Portuguese speakers with expertise in English weighing in. But yeah, I think it was focusing on the cadence of the English and I guess hoping and praying as well. It's also worth noting that Susana did such a great job sort of structuring things, taking all of the interviews that she did and molding them into what is in these sections. So there was a lot of guidance in that respect, when you're in the hands of a writer who has really taken the care to do things right, it becomes a lot easier, even though it was challenging.